the attraction machine framework. So this is a framework that reaches out consistently to your avatar customers, whether or not they are candidates or whether or not they are clients. So I'm going to start by showing you some of the mechanics of what effectively we're talking about. And this is fundamentally like an outbound framework. And in order to win a client, if you think about when you're winning a client or a candidate from the get-go, like if you need to meet them, like, if we're out in the old days of networking, you actually meet people face to face. It's exactly the same on LinkedIn. But we have to go through this process where we start building the trust. And this is what's changed since the pandemic, because people are not picking up their phones. They're not in the office. So we're then having to send a message of some sorts or an offer of some sorts in order to get people's interest to say, yes, I'm interested. I'm raising my hand to say I'm interested. That's the difference. And most recruiters haven't sort of twigged on that. So the first thing is you have to get really clear on what is your model and what is your message. And because the message comes from your model, and this is all about your profile. And if the model is unclear, your message will be unclear and people will not respond to it. They just won't respond to your message. And, when you don't get clear on that and you haven't got the right model, this is where things start to fall apart. But the reality is everybody has got a level of experience or expertise. And so we need to build this model around your experience and your expertise. And we then just need to put it in a very compelling way so that when you reach out to people, they go, yeah, I need that. And so that's the first thing. Then we're going to need to want to connect with these people. And then we're going to want to engage with these people. And so how we put an offer out to them and how we work together, once we've done that, we will have a conversation. And in the middle, all this bit here, is the messages. And this is where people get a little bit lost. And so I just wanted to dig a little bit into that. We're going to look at sort of the certain transitions that need to happen. So the first thing is we have to move from being unknown to them to known to them. And so we'll be building connections. We'll be building connections with our avatar clients. And we can do this in sort of one of two ways. We can do it sort of one-to-one with something like LinkedIn. And the only thing with LinkedIn, though, is we can only do 20 connection requests a day. And if we're looking at a 30% conversion rate of that, that's about 8 people a day that you can get connected with. So there's a certain time limit to how you can build that up. Now, we can speed it up by having multiple profiles, but that is one of the tools that you can use. We can also use lots of other really cool tools, where we're sending out emails. So you might be sending out bespoke, automated, artificially intelligent, bespoke emails where we've got one-to-many. And this is where you can be sending out like 200 really good emails a day using some of these other smart tools. And so you'll be able to build your list from between 20 to 220 per day. And there's some amazing tools out there that will do this. And this also would include your database that you probably haven't touched or haven't properly worked in on. So then the second transition is we need to get the offer out into the market. And this offer doesn't have to be complex, but it needs to be an invitation. And it needs to be something where, like it might be a job that you have. It could be that you're offering to do a career audit. It could be that you're offering to work with a handful of very bespoke people who want a certain type of thing. Would you be interested? So we have to put an offer out to find out whether somebody is interested in having a conversation. And then we need to move interested into a conversation, a call. So and this is where we use the touch points. So we engage with people and we get the people interested in terms of having then a conversation. Now, you may be saying, Nikki, right, I know where you're going with this. You're going to invite me to a call to sell me something. But here's the thing, guys, I have nothing to sell to the wrong people. If you want this, we can help you. If you don't, just don't book a call. It's totally fine. Honestly, there's seriously, like, it doesn't make any difference to us. I don't need to sell anything other than the opportunity for you. And it's the same with you guys. If you've got somebody there who needs your help, you are actually doing them a disservice by not reaching out to them to say, hey, look, I've got something that's going to really fix your massive issue. If you've got someone who's in a job that they hate, or their back is up against the wall, or they know that they're being underpaid, and you've got something that can solve that issue for them, or you've got a client who's desperate for a certain type of person, it's almost, you're doing them a disservice by not putting the offer out there. And this is the mentality that you guys need to take to this, because you've got something very valuable to bring to people. So how do you get people to book a call? It's when they respond to say, yes, I'm interested, or yes, send me the information. All we're then going to do is we're going to take that into a conversation. Say, right, no worries, let's jump on a call. And then during that call is where you will have the conversation, the conversion conversation, either to get a retained or exclusive gold job. Or if you're in a candidate-led market, how you convert that candidate into a committed, most valuable candidate, VIP candidate. And that, guys, is the process. But we have to take people off LinkedIn and have a conversation. We can't just do everything on LinkedIn. You have to have that physical conversations. That's really, really important to know. So this is basically the connect, the engage, and the convert model, basically. And then over here is your pipeline. Now, oops. And this is a really important part. Again, hardly anybody, and I know there'll be people on the call who are doing this, but it will be a small minority who are actually tracking the data. And it's really important that you do track the data, because we want to be looking at like the number of connections and how many of those convert then into leads, how many of those leads convert into conversations, and how many of those conversations convert into placements, basically. Because in order to scale, the way that you do that is we have to tweak these parts of the process. So once you've built your machine, we then look at how do you optimize this machine? How do you make it so it is absolutely rock solid? Because even if you do this with one niche, so one person, one industry, one location, you have £1 million organic funnel. And I know this because I've seen it time and time again with our clients. But we need, once we've built it, we need to optimize it. And what happens though is most people give up too soon. They're right about to break through, but they then jack it in. So we've got to have a process where we are looking at the numbers, because we can work out very predictably. If we reach out to this amount of person and we get our conversion rates at, say, 50% or more, we know exactly how many leads are going to be coming in. And if things get switched off for whatever reason, like they do sometimes, then you know that it's probably your message that needs to change. It's not the system, it's your message. And this is the framework, guys. So, we have a scorecard that we track. We know exactly what each profile does. We know the connections, what percentages need to be tweaked in order to optimize it. But that fundamentally, guys, is in the framework. And in this bit here is where the messages are. And we have a very simple four message initial outreach, and then we have a 3-month follow-up, which is where we then hit the touch points. You as the business owner would design the message sequence. It's really gentle. It's like the first one is just an information. This is what we do. Love to be connected. What value can I add to you? Second one is more of an ask. I'm working with this type of person. Is this something you might be interested in? If they don't respond to that, we would just send another message saying like, hey, just nudging this, just checking if you've seen this. And then they go into a 3-month follow-up. the people who would be delivering that sequence will be either virtual assistants, there'll be admin people, there'll probably be people who you've outsourced that who are based in India, the Philippines, potentially South Africa if you're in the UK, anywhere where there is low cost, high quality individuals. And at the moment, because I think this will probably change, we don't automate any of this through technology. It's done through people. The emails we do through technology, but anything on LinkedIn is done bespoke, because if you don't do it bespokely, you could get basically put in LinkedIn jail. So that is the framework, guys.